Welcome everyone. This is Glenda Dawson and I am from Glenda's Magical Creations. And I have a very special guest tonight. And she is going to do a beautiful presentation for us. I got a sneak peek, guys. I'm sorry, but I couldn't wait. My excitement was just too much. And this Gemini's curiosity had to be taken care of. Anyway, so with that in mind, want to just say welcome to everyone. I'm thankful and grateful for everyone that follows me, that keeps tabs on me, and everyone who just keeps up with all the shows that I'm putting up. So keep sending emails, keep subscribing, keep sending me notes. We love it. And if you're on the chat rooms, go ahead. Send us some messages, and we probably won't be able to answer them on the air, but we will answer them later. So with that being said, Mary Edwards, welcome.
Oh, it's wonderful to see you, Glenda, and all. Thanks for having me today.
Thank you for coming on and giving us this beautiful presentation that you're going to give us. And I'm sorry, guys, again, my curiosity got the best of me. I had a sneak peek. What can I say? So, Mary, I'm just going to turn it over to you, and you take it and do whatever you need to do.
All right.
We are all excited.
Oh, thank you. I'll just pull up my screenshot here.
Okay.
I'll share the screen, and I will bring up my PowerPoint here for our little blue dot filled with all this vibrancy and flora and fauna that they don't get. But they are now in little snippets in some of these interiors. So I went to Andromeda, a planet called Zone, and the Andromeda star system, and it's like I put the Earth there in that image because it's like an Earth-like planet. That's one of their many planets, and their terrain is all volcanic ashen and from the past. But it said they're now requesting my helping them design art, aesthetics, interiors, and architecture, and then bring in our culture and learn more about their culture that we're sharing. We're in communication about how we can help each other compatibly, obviously, create spaces that work for ET and humans together. So they've been training me energetic, as I mentioned, for 40 years and watching and working with my family since the 1200s. So these are very exaggerated. This is like a whole Earth planet here, but all their buildings are really tall, pointy gray buildings, and they only see gray and blue. We had to talk about that. I said, why do you only see gray and blue? Anyway, because of all the travel and things that being outside and the harsh things. And, we'll end up with as we know, with our eyes like the grays probably have someday down the road. Anyway, they're all geometric buildings and blue flowers. They only have 3-foot tall blue bushes all over the whole planet. I said, really, all over the whole planet? Or don't you have redwoods? Or, I ask about where do they get their trees for some of these places. Some beings bring them from the tropics. Some bring, palm trees from the tropics. Some go down to Peru and bring beautiful old plants from there. So they have the capacity, as we know, to bring fun things in nearby. They've got bring water in huge tanks for their planets to be able to provide for us humans and also for others that are going to continue coming. So anyway, it's been really fascinating. And then here, of course, no organic materials, because like us on Earth, they live outside. They live not inside. So their materials are rock and cast concrete. And I've been doing some buildings like this, and they love the idea of doing fake translucent windows. So you can even get some kind of light in, because they do have light there, even though it's a more Earth-like planet. They still have harsh weather, like most of us do. But they said they like, I said, why me? I always say, why little old me, why not 5 million other people? Anyway, they said that they like my family lineage of high intelligence. This is their words, not mine. Good ethics that can bend with the challenges, and that we do, all of us here probably on this listening, we do bend with the challenges and understand leadership, and really want to support well-being here and in everything we do. And that's what we're really here to do. And that's what they're asking me to do. And I'm happy to continue on the good part of my heritage. We all have good and bad and ugly, but I love that my family has always, right, been very involved, in space. My dad's first trip was, he'd be about 100 now. And his first trip to Mars was when he was 6. So he got it. My grandfather had it. His great grandfather had it, and I got it out of my family. So we pass these things. They do use furniture. They have cushions, benches, tables. They sit and eat in groups, but only sit and eat when there are other people there. They like kinetic art and wall materials. They drink water.
Okay.
I thought it was sort of cool. So, everybody's does their own thing. They've been there I said, how long have you been there? 2.5 billion years. And now there's 60 million people that live there now, no humans. And then one of the coolest places I was just at twice in May, like a few weeks ago, or whatever May was, last month. I was designing 2 bigger floors. So each of these floors, so this is 1.5 million square feet about, because,
Wow.
Each level under the Mars, but this is the first time I've ever attached 2 layers together with elevators and stairs and stuff. So these are passages that go through. So I was trying to make it look so you could see inside of Mars, under Mars. So these are 2 like layers underground that are connected. And this, we're creating the workspace on the top level, even though it's underground. And then you can reach the living space for humans in ET below. So they wanted me to create Earth-like aesthetics and large, like huge murals inside. So if these are each 1.5 million square feet. So these spaces just keep getting bigger and bigger. So we're doing that. So there are 1,000 beings that live there, including Pleiadians, Arcturians, Sirians. They're about 850 ET and about 150 humans. They shift vibration to allow the spacecraft to arrive inside. So I said, why don't we do the workspace on top and then do the living space below? And so the spacecraft just live down in here. So this is all concrete or rock on the ground. And then these are the big murals that I just figured just keep it all nice and unthreatening, not big waterfalls, not, just pretty. And blue is a really warm color that expands space, and cool colors shrink space, warm colors, expand space. Blue is what we've done with them, and blue, pale colors, and on off.
Before you go on, now they could see all the different colors, right? Not like the other ones who could only basically see.
They can see all the different colors.
Okay.
But yes, I always ask, that's the first thing I ask, because as the Metatron told me, he said, you're here to spread color, light, good energy to kids and everybody. So I do love color, and I've taught color to kids, to seniors, really forever. And color is, as we know, is energy, like everything else is. Colors have personalities and create emotions. And so they're learning. So we have these talks about, why did I use the colors? In that, and then these are all my black and white photography that's right here. You can't see in the wall. That's of just nature. I said, well, it's nice to have balance in any interior, whether it's a small 1,200 square foot condo like here. It's nice to have quiet, reflective art. And then also art is a mini portal. So you want to have both. And then also shifting it like I did in the space station interior ages ago. We talked to all the different, the Japanese, we had ISA, we had the internet in Japanese, we had a space station. I said, what are 5 colors that you like? We did all these different studies. It wasn't just, Laura Ashley putting color on the wall. It was investigative research and testing it off planet and testing it, not off planet, but just in locations, isolated and confined environments, to see what people really needed when they were really freaking out being alone for long periods of time. And so we are helping them de-stress in these environments, and they are learning from us and from me and you every day. Everybody here has a different gift and talent. Mine just happens to be more involved with the interiors and design stuff. But anyway, so I said, let's put let's put a pond in here. If it's 1 million square feet, let's put not just a swimming pool, but so this is an open water that they can swim in. They can walk into this recreation area, and just to get a breath of fresh air. These are, obviously there are probably jillions of trees that we can put in from different locations, so they can learn about our earth culture and also go and relax, like, they should.
Now, I know somebody's going to have this question. You have the trees and all that. How do they support the tree growing when there is no sun all the way down?
Well, that was my question too, a couple of times, and I don't know all this, but I said they said they bring in trees and soil from other parts of from our country,
right,
that relate to that, because soil. My son does forestry forever. Right. Presidio Trust here. And I said, well, you bring it, you just planted like 3,000, eucalyptus trees. Do you have to, he said, Mom, of course, we talk about that all the time. So they bring in, they have the capacity, they bring in water and minerals and stuff from all over the world, from different planets and from Earth. And then, of course, most of the trees, that was my first question. How do you get them there? Do they actually stay alive? So part of it's experimental to see. And I said, well, then how do you, sure, we're putting this 400 by 600 square foot pond there. How do they recycle the water? And of course, they have all these sustainable systems that are like the new TV show, Stars on Mars, which is like my favorite new weird TV show to watch because it is, they're talking about the habitability and human factors, which is what the department we were in had just been created by NASA to try to, they really wanted the astronauts to be more productive more than anything. But what I'm doing that I did 30 years ago then is exactly what I'm doing now off planet. It's really cool. It's just a different order than, but it's, and I said, well, where do you get the water from? When you say you bring it in big iron tanks in these huge craft that you have, where do you store it? I said, where is all this? So a lot of it, like, I'll move ahead here. Oh no, I guess it was back in here. So, and I really haven't taken the time to make big floor plans that I would want for any interior, but like this is 1 mile, 1 mile wide each of this on the moon. There's the work center. So, sometimes we have the space that we're still, I go see the space, and sometimes they're the size of this, or there are 4 football fields, or there are 5 million square feet. I mean, we have to carve it out. It takes time. So that's why they bring me back every couple of months, or however, or they just take me when they want me. And I go and I come back, and I know I've been. I mean, I always wake up sort of tired in the morning because I go for, a few hours human time.
Right.
So there's always, I should have said that. I'm sorry, I scooted through it. Manufacturing, staging area for stuff, human sleep cook area, conservatory, now that is so popular. I mean, everybody keeps saying, oh, I want a conservatory too. So now, because they want healthy food, and of course, more humans living there, and they want to be more social because of their live work situation, and people are using these as stopping off areas for work. And then the living area, which is separate from the humans need a separate work area for their hygiene and all our stuff. And then they get separate areas that they can just, bring in a bed if they want it, or a chair. So we really haven't done a lot of interior work other than for the humans, but also the ET want to sit down and have conversations. Like, we have a work day there. You still have to be somewhere, not sit on the floor, and I can't, I'm there floating, or, whatever we're all doing. So yeah, it's crazy. I mean, so I'll keep you posted and learn more. It's really cool. Oopsie. So I got to keep moving through here. Okay. So art heals. That's me. That's my drawing I did when I was like 6 years old. The benefits of art. And art therapy. I've taught art therapy. I've taught suicidals on the side forever. I've taught kids forever. Art heals. It heals me. It heals you. It heals everybody. It's a creative expression, whether it's you're making music or writing. We all find our creative arts that we feel like we can express ourselves and get a voice in. I've done work with a lot of veterans and homeless. As I said, I've done books for them over the years. I teach an art class outdoors every month or two to mental health professionals as part of team building on the weekends. So they're not just sitting inside for 3 or 4 days in a row, whether it's Google or Facebook. I've done a lot of these NIOs. We go by the water and I set up 15 or 20 chairs and we sit outside so they get to come hang out, have coffee or have a glass of wine. And then we just draw. We go to a park. This is up in San Francisco where I live. We either go by the water, depending upon the weather. Or we go inside if the weather's not good. I've taught art at a friend's school in Africa a couple of times that had never had an art class. 10 years ago when she told me, I said, when are you going next? And she said, in 3 weeks. I said, I'm on that plane. I bought a ticket and I took 4 duffel bags full of glue and paper and masks and paint.
That's wonderful.
Markers. And now they have, and they call me their American art teacher. So I taught 1,200 of the students and I went back the following year to do it again. And it was really an AIDS ridden area too. We saw so many little caskets of children and they had so little, they were so appreciative of being creative. We did a lot of art therapy with them because there was a lot of abuse and death and stuff. So it was fascinating to really do that with them there. And then, of course, I try to sort of wrap this up in the next few slides. Children are future voices, leaders and activists. Let's inspire them and teach them well. These are some of the books. I work with kids who want to know more about it.
Right.
My niece, this picture in the bottom left is I did a kids collection 40 years ago. I was in 70 showrooms with my rugs that I had made in India and Hong Kong and Manila. And I started a kids collection and people were saying, what the heck are you doing kids for? And I said, well, I'm sort of a futurist. This is a little too early. Someday kids are going to be important. We weren't in the 50s. I'm old. We didn't count. It was all about the parents. Now it was all the pets and I knew the kid. But anyway, I had a whole kids collection. I sold tons of rugs. I had it for about 10 years till everybody started copying my designs and I had to shut it down. But my niece is now 40. So wow. I was always creating, doing things for kids to get them connected to themselves and then books. So I started an educational program. I presented this to NASA right before COVID, the week COVID shut down, to inspire kids about space and the universe. I was hoping to get it in the public and private school systems in the United States. And they said, Mary, we love this. The guy who happened to be head of STEM in Washington, D.C., I said, oh, I see you went to the University of Illinois, Southern Illinois. I said, where'd you grow up? And he said, oh, a little town in Illinois that you'd never heard of. And I said, well, try me. He said, Elgin. And I said, Elgin, that's where my parents grew up. And he said, you're not Edwards. You're not Space Edwards. You're not Camp Edwards. I mean, he knew the whole thing. And all of a sudden, so I said, whenever you get funding, and we've been talking back and forth, we need to get this into some of the museums. I mean, space is back, the space race is. But anyway, I said this educational program will inspire kids and young minds about the magic of the universe in books, art, products, posters, documentaries for kids, teens, high school, college, and adults. And so I did a whole 2-hour presentation to them with t-shirts and fun things and an astronaut kids backpack.
Oh, love it.
And I was going to try to find donations from people that I know here who are involved in education. Anyway. And then, of course, Barbara's in my book. That was so wonderful to work with on her. And that's me and the ET that were with me on the craft that day. But it's all about the kids. And here I'm starting my space books design. Okay. I've got 2 other books that are coming out this year. I'm a space explorer, I'm the universe, and then a time travel adventures book. And I know we've talked about one. So I'm excited to continue creating fun space books for children as a lifelong dream of mine to inspire others like I was as a child with my dad and my grandfather. We'd always be out looking at the stars with telescopes and just walking, being outside at night at the beach or just gazing up at the stars, waiting for something to happen. This is a book I'm doing now on sort of some of this information.
So you're basically writing about your life now,
Well, I had to get it all out, Glenda. Didn't
right?
mean to write about but my kids said, Mom, and Dad, and I mean, my kids and some of the cousins who are going, are you kidding? How did none of us ever know about it? And I was
Right.
like, I was the only weird one that got taken off into space and have these gifts, but I'm now coming out of the closet talking about it. The ET closet, I call it, as you know. I talk a lot about it. Well, it is. But yes, I'm gonna figure out a way to make. I've been writing it for the last several years, and I needed to get more information, and I needed to get more experience. And now I'm, as you know, I've talked to you a lot about some of my fears, some of my trauma. You know, some of the things I'm comfortable and not comfortable with sharing. But I'm here to help other kids like me who are never spoken to. And that's why I did ET Friends. I want to do more books just to tell the stories, because every time, like readings you do, sharing you do with all your beautiful work that you do, Glenda, and people that are listening to this, we all play our part. So whatever we do, and to me, the visual part of it, because that's what I do and what I love so much, is what I'm sort of obsessed by, and always have been since a little girl. And I just went and saw Asteroid City. So it's now in living color. Asteroid City, and the movie Oppenheimer comes out next week. Modern movies like Asteroid City use artful design and stories of ET contact and first nuclear weapons, because I told you Dad worked with Oppenheimer and Einstein when Dad was at Princeton with Einstein, then he met Oppenheimer, then they worked all together. I mean, there was a long, wild, private, shut down, lack of communication discussion with everybody else.
Right.
But anyway, Asteroid City is a playful, beautiful Wes Anderson movie that's out now, that's going back to sort of like an Area 51. And then look at the ET. I was taking pictures in the movie theater, supposed to do, but it's happening now. It's happening everywhere, as we know. And my friend Apollo has had me on our show many times talking about space habitats and the future of humanity and humanity's self-sustainable future, which I love. And all these students, I'm going to be doing some workshops on, getting more involved with students to be creative, like they're doing in a lot of school systems. I've talked in a bunch of different schools here over the last many years.
Right.
But look at that. Look at
That's
students
beautiful.
on Mars Colony. This was something, a 12-week class that I got off the internet, looking at Elon Musk and everybody going, is it really all out there? So love. And then I'm a host on Sheila Seppi's wonderful Conscious Awakening Network, as you are. And I love sharing stories with all of you we're here to tell stories and share our wild and wonderful experiences together. So the world of tomorrow is here now. Nothing in the universe is more complex than life. Life is open-ended, evolving, unpredictable, yet adapting and self-sustaining. Let's agree to cultivate a deeper sense of peace, gratitude, and connection by grounding ourselves into the natural world, and bring children and future generations onto Earth into happier, healthier, kinder, and safer lives in homes, community, and lives. Let's prepare children to embark on a spiritual journey of self-discovery, one that promises to equip them with valuable tools and life-changing insight.
Wonderful.
So
that's where they could contact you, right? If they have
that's
any
where
questions.
they can contact me.
Good.
That's my part that I did. So anyway, thank you so much for having me here. And I don't know if you have any questions, or if I think I'm up. So
no, well, I do have a question, which I'm sure people will also have. Now, when you are asked to prepare a space for them, do they allow you to go first to the space and like we do here on Earth, measure and look around and discuss things? Or do they tell you basically, we need a greenhouse and that's basically it?
No, they really, from day one, when I remember going, they say, what would you do with this space? Like I said in my third or fourth slide, we really communicate together. They like the way I communicate for some reason, but we talk, I say, what do you need? You know, first of all, you always start like, that's a good question. What do you need now? What do you need in the future? What are your immediate needs? And usually it's just, you know, these little huts, because that's all the, you know, you only, I missed, my art. Oh, I sort of scooted through that website. Oops, well, it didn't matter. This matters more. But it's usually these, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's those fingers like mine. They go too fast sometimes.
I know they do. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get back there. There. Okay. So they start with this. We start with this or with that. I'm sorry. Made you dizzy, everybody. But they say, what would you do with this space? And I go, what are your needs today? And how long do you think it will take? What do we need to do? So that just like a job when I was working on a 30,000 acre hotel in China, they'd fly me back every month. And I went for like 3 years because it was huge. And then we were doing stuff in Beijing and I said, why don't we do a vineyard instead of getting rid of all your people? So, and that's why they just have me come back. And I'll say, does that work for you? What colors do you like? What kind of feel do you want? And then I say, do you like this kind of art? And if they say no, then we come up with something else. We test things out. And I usually, everything is about resilience. Like everything has to be on earth right now because nobody has enough time, enough energy or money to do everything anybody wants to do. So whether it's off planet or on planet, it's always the same things. What's the most practical thing we can do first for you to be able to have the most flexibility, basics that you need today for the next few months, and then come up with a timeline. So just like every other project, like we all do when you have a home improvement, it's the same thing. And then it's interesting too, because they can bring in whatever. I said, well, what if you want to bring in a sofa if I'm coming up and I want to sit down? And they said, well, you know, we can just stick it there in 2 seconds, you know. I was working the Pleiades, when I was having dinner with my Pleiadian children like 4 or 5 years ago, I said, well, what is this wonderful purple food we're eating? And they said, well, we don't eat. So we're making something really fun for you because you love color. And I've designed some clothes and stuff. By the way, it's up there. So, and I said, well, where's this from? Or where's this from? And they said, oh, we just bring it in 2 seconds. And we've been to your house and they've seen my work. So they just bring things and it's there. And then they can just get rid of it in 2 seconds because they're so technologically advanced. But now, because these are live workspaces for humans, and that's why they because of the family trust and because of my lineage from William Bradford coming over from Lincolnshire and sort of starting America to like blah, 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 whatever it is, and space, rockets and propellers and housing, and mom's parents, developing through, Sherman Oaks down to Hollywood. These are big, and the Sherman Ranch that was taken over by Ponchabillano like 1910. I never saw it, but that was one of the largest American, couple largest American developments had ever gone on from, they moved the cattle from like a couple 100,000 acres of Kansas down to Texas to fatten them up during the winter. Pancho Villa, what happened to be nearby in Mexico, came up and would come. My grandmother used to say, he'd come to the door and ask for 50 head of cattle and then 100,000, like 100,000. Yeah. Then they shot everybody and they took over the whole ranch. So then they moved to California, and then they developed from Sherman Oaks, that they named after my, great grandfather, Moses Sherman, down to Hollywood. So I guess they've watched how they did this, and they put the railroads in, and they knew how to facilitate even me doing smaller projects like this. And I've worked on a lot of big ones. I've done $50 million houses in Italy. I've worked on a lot of big projects. I don't really talk about. I mean, I showed a few here, but worked on hospitals and, 10, 15, 20,000 square foot houses. And it's all about budget and time. And what do you need now? And then what do you need in 2 years? So you do I don't go over budget with them because they can basically go get whatever they want pretty much. But they just see so many more humans coming, so many more people coming, that they're really ramping up and putting in these beautiful conservatories. I mean, this is just a simple 2-minute drawing I did, but and for enjoyment. They want to also, because they have to enjoy, they're in these harsh, it's like isolated and confined environments,
Right,
like police
right.
station.
Of
Exactly.
course.
We know you get it. So what do we do first? And I said, well, let's put a piece of art on the wall. Let's figure out some kind of flooring of concrete. Let's try to create with one thing, and then I can keep coming back. And then it's like in this picture, you know, I said, let's just make a series of, it's like co-housing. When I went to architecture school, I did low income housing and senior
Right,
housing. And
right.
so it's just, you build small compartments to serve now, and then you
Right.
just building and building, and they can replicate a lot, you know, pretty quickly with some of their help and their technology. I mean, they can just put in lighting in 5 seconds. I mean, I've tracked lighting here that's been here since the 60s that most people don't want, but it's fine for me. But you know, they need their food, obviously, for the humans. They need furnishings for the humans. So, and they like my color, and they been training me with my unique set of skills, whatever that is, and my clairvoyance and our empathy and and that I'm grounded in nature's beauty and the desire to really create spaces that feel good and work for people. And I worked at a lot of firms. A lot of people were in it for the money. I've never been in anything for the money. I've just always wanted to help humanity thrive in their homes, and me or whoever it is. So
well, this is just wonderful, Mary.
Thank you.
I'm in awe. I am in awe, and I'm sure a lot of people will be, at all the wonderful things you have done and how you're helping. And the interesting things is, like, you know, we never really think of these habitats, anybody else needing them except for us. We don't realize that, you know, we're not the only, you know, even though we know that there are ETs out there, we keep forgetting that everyone at some point needs something, some place where to relax.
Right, to thrive and to relax and eat and entertain, because they've never really done that. And that's why when I made a list a few years ago, ETs may not have the viewpoint that allows them to understand what we humans do, right? So number one, they have to ask for help, and they go to safe families, I guess, like you or whoever it is, or me. They've not been raised in a stimulating environment. We're the only blue dot, other than, you know, this Andromedan one. I was shocked that they were telling me how big their space was, and that it was like an Earth-like environment. I mean, that was, oh, there's my art. I guess I really that. It doesn't matter. But sorry, it's going too fast. Sorry.
Yeah.
Anyway, so you know, that's why we're creating these tent-like and things. So, and then also the range of colors, so that they grew up in non-stimulating monochromatic environment, gray, black, tech, you know. And then their view of aesthetics, they didn't know. I said, you know what aesthetics are? Maybe some of you don't, but I've taught design at college and all these different levels, mostly college for 6 years at the Academy of Art College here. And I taught a color class, and aesthetics is light, texture, scale, proportion, all the components that make that's the inside. It's not just art design, it's how you weave it all together with texture and color and light, and you know, the blend of different materials, and it's how you pull it all together. And people say, you bought and fixed up 50 houses. And I said, how do you do it so fast? And I said, well, that's the one gift I have. Like, Dad, I can see things done. So I can come up in 5 seconds, like 20 minutes, with 5 or 6 different solutions. It's the only thing I'm good at in life. I'm not good at most other things. You're good at other stuff. I'm a fast problem solver, and I got that from my dad, part of it. It's all about structure and walking into a space and being able to read it. I'd go into people's houses. I did hundreds of homes here, and they'd say, okay, what would you do now? And I'd say, well, maybe we could blast open that wall. We can do this. We can do this. Here's a $100 budget. Here's a $100,000 budget. Here's a $5 million budget. And somehow I can do that stuff in my head. I can't really do it on paper except for billing. But yeah, it's just, I can see things done, and it's a weird gift to have, but it's an incredible one for the work that I've been doing in, you know, flipping houses and real estate and design and stuff.
That's
And they love
wonderful.
the good communication between ETs and humans. And my
Mhm.
family based in, there's my little list that because I thought maybe we talk about this. My family DNA with rocket science and engineering. So now that the world has changed a little bit, my
Mhm.
generation, I'm bringing in not just the rockets. Dad and Dad's aeronautical aerospace company designed and manufactured heavy rocketry, reentry systems, nose cones or rocket ships that would land in the water. They
Mhm.
designed all the parachutes. They did most of the optic systems. So, I mean, I grew up with cameras. Dad and I were photographing everything. And they took us on trips to China, to Africa, to India, all over when I was little, all the way through our lives. We were always exploring. And I said, Dad, why did you take me on so many incredible trips when Kathy and Ginny couldn't go on? My sisters couldn't go on some of them. And he said, because of what you were doing, what you were being trained for. He
Mm.
said, we really knew you really wanted to go and be with us in Africa for 5 weeks and sleep in the Serengeti and see what the different animals were like in 1978. So, when you come from an adventuresome family, I felt like I grew up with Indiana Jones as parents. I mean, Mom would get us out of bed at 5 years old. We chased fire engines. And then we were traveling to, Europe when I was 10. And then it was like, okay, done in Europe. Then we were going to Africa and India and Tibet and all these, first places that you could
Mhm.
even get into. So anyway, it was, the spiritual roots that we have,
Right.
that you have, that we all have, that they look at, the love of helping humanity and positive beings to live in a more beautiful world and land and to share in better ways with each other in their
Mhm.
homes, designing spirited interior, sharing ideas. Nature links us beings and brings in the joy and beauty inside. And I like that I do that. But anyway, so I think it's just all our skills. You're brilliant at what you do. Everyone is good at what they love and do, right?
Mhm.
But it's our world of aesthetics and what we love incorporating as natural light into spaces they didn't know about, and pattern and color and how you put it all together. So that's what's been fun, because that's the teacher part of me that's always really liked helping people achieve their goals in their home lives, bringing in beautiful natural things that are magic to us all. So
It's wonderful. It's just wonderful. Well, um, I'm like I said, I am in awe, and it's a wonderful thing that you're doing for everyone, not just for the ETs, as you call it, our galactic families, but also for humans, because all this stuff will eventually help the human when we do reach those places, right?
right.
And you never know. That could be any day now, right? Even
It's gonna
no matter how far it is.
right.
So,
Well, I zip up there and I'm helping them come here. And I've been told that for 20 or 30 years in the weird way that I hear things. And they said, you're helping us, we're helping you. And
yeah.
you're going to help us when we land here safely, like you're doing for us up there. So it's, I think we can all band together. And I think if anybody's interested in doing a book in anything, let's do one
Mhm.
about future ideas that we can help even teach them more, or any reciprocal. I mean, we're all doing good, or we wouldn't be here right
Right,
now with you,
right,
Glenda.
right.
But it's a unique, it's a different perspective than most people
Right.
haven't heard about much. So I've been
No, I
hesitant
thought it
to
was
really
beautiful. Thought it was
share
great.
it.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. And if you want to stop sharing so people can see your beautiful face.
Oh, thank you. Yes.
Okay, well, thank you, Mary. That was
Oh,
wonderful. And we
yeah.
thank our audience, and again, continue watching us. And we're both on the Conscious Awakening Network. So we're all over the place, including YouTube and Roku TV and Apple TV and so on, so on, so on. All right. So thank you, Mary. Thank you, audience, and everyone that's watching. Many blessings, and we love you all.
Thank
Bye.
you.